I thank the gentleman, and I thank the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Scott, for continuing to find ways to collaborate with his members and others to ensure that we respond to the crux of opportunity in America, and that is education. And I'm so grateful to be able to stand and support S1098 and to take this brief moment to thank my fellow alum, David Price, for being persistent in this legislation and serving the American people over the years, David, that you have done. I had a chance to get the second bite of the apple. David was here and then came back, and I've enjoyed every moment of his commitment to opportunities for Americans, including housing and transportation and homeland security over the years. And I certainly want to say to you that the American people are better for your service to this nation. Thank you so very much. I am grateful to finally be able to say, Chairman Scott, to a constituent who I saw over the weekend that called the number of the bill. Most times constituents don't know bill numbers. And they said, I need you to support S1098. And obviously, this is something so many of us have been looking to because we've heard this from our constituents. And I'm very grateful that this legislation now allows a married couple who has previously consolidated their federal student loans, because we are allowed to do that. Many people thought that was a good thing to do, to submit a joint application to the Department of Education to sever their loan, allowing each former spouse their proportional responsibility, which each former spouse would still be obligated for a share of the loan. Their share of responsibility would be benchmarked to the proportion of the debt that they brought into the consolidated loan. Without loan severance, if a spouse refuses to pay their share, the other spouse remains responsible for full payment. This is important legislation as it relates to divorce and domestic violence or economic abuse. Bearing the risk of the full responsibility for a consolidated loan after divorce can dramatically restrain a spouse from moving on with their life, for supporting their children, for getting a house, for feeling safe. The Joint Consolidation Loan Separation Act also addresses the especially volatile situation of former relationships in which an individual was subjected to domestic or, as I said, economic abuse. As the sponsor of the Violence Against Women Act that worked for 5 years to get this bill passed, that became law in March of last year, I'm especially concerned about women who've experienced physical, mental, sexual, emotional, and psychological abuse at the hands of a spouse or partner. S198 allows them to separate from toxic relationships and get away from the economic abuse and retain or maintain their credit so that they can go forward. This can also apply to a male who may be suffering from the same situation. Two married borrowers of federal student loans could combine their debt in a single loan, but we can also come back now to ensure that they separate it. This is an important step forward. We enthusiastically...
Another minute.
This is an important step forward. We enthusiastically add this to the component of making sure under the Violence Against Women Act that there is expanded understanding of what happens when one spouse abuses another, or the idea of economic abuse. Just as an example, when one spouse is not being timely, is not being responsive, for whatever reasons is not able to be found, then the credit of the remaining spouse being dutiful is completely, if I might use the term, mutilated. And so I am eager to ensure that this bill is passed, and I'm certainly acknowledge the senator from the state of Texas, Senator Cornyn. We work together on other matters. Let everybody know this is bipartisan, and as well let everyone know that what we'll be doing is ensuring that people can restore their lives. They can stand up again and be able to pay their debt. And I guess as I finish, I'm stunned by people that don't want to see us move forward for people to pay their debt. You can pay their debt. Let us all support S1098. With that, I yield back.